So, first drift day. What an incredible experience. It was so good to be out there, sort of, I guess, chasing the dream, making it to the track. It definitely didn't go smoothly. I'm not quite sure if the car wanted to be there, but we certainly did. Me and the team, we were just so pumped. Be at the track, surrounded by drifters. Yeah, it was the best. So we got there nice and early in the morning, got everything unloaded, put the bumper back on, which I managed to rip off when I was loading it onto the trailer. Got the car out for scrutineering, which I was worried about. I was pretty scared that it was going to fail or there'd be something on it that we didn't know about or hadn't noticed. And but it went through smooth, like no issues, which was awesome.
Driving Carter. Who's got the wheel? Yeah, boy.
Finally got out. Well, they put us into groups and whatnot, and then they had different, I guess, like different stages around the place, and each group would be at a different stage, and you can rotate around, which is a really cool way to do it. It sort of change things up throughout the day, which is cool. We went out, and sort of after the first, I guess like the first cone that I tried to do a donut around, I realised straight away there's something wrong with this car. Yeah, steering keeps seizing up, or it felt like it was binding. At first I thought binding it like full lock, something going on because it's got sort of extended arms and whatnot. It ended up throughout the day sort of working out that it was binding just randomly all the time. What we think it is now, sort of I guess in retrospect, is the power steering pump itself starting to shit itself. We can't find anything that's actually binding within the steering itself. From what I've been reading, 1JZ power steering pumps are not the best, but unreliable, and a lot of the drifters go to an electric power steering pump. So that's what I'm going to look at doing for the next event. But for this one, it was an ongoing issue, sort of the whole day, unfortunately. But yeah, we were there to learn, and I wasn't just going to put the car in the trailer. I made the decision real early that we're just going to keep sending it. There's heaps of runoff and stuff. There's nothing really to hit. You just fly off onto the grass with no steering. So it was just like, I wanted to get a feel for the car, and I guess test all the other stuff to do it as well, because it was a shakedown for the car just as much as it was for me. So we wanted to take as much learnings as we sort of could from it. So we just carried on. Did the best I could, I guess. Tried to drive around it as much as possible, but you just be in the middle of a drift and you want to like transition or even just adjust your steering sort of as you're going for angle and whatnot, and it would just bind up, and it'd only be for like a second or two, but long enough that now and then you can sort of fight it and get out, but most of the time it was just too late and you're going burgers. But it was still cool. It was still a lot of fun. It was definitely got the adrenaline going. Didn't give me any confidence in the car, which I guess was the downside. So yeah, so we got about, I guess, 3 or 4 runs just like that, pretty much spitting out all over the place and just trying to get used to the car.
Tell us what happened for the video.
Steering kept binding up for full lock and I couldn't get it off. And we snapped an axle. So left rear axle, I don't remember the second or I think I maybe just changed into third, I can't remember exactly. But axle went, we were just spinning one wheel. And at that stage it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, so it was still early and I was gutted. I honestly thought that was it. It's game over, we've come all this way and we're going home at 10 o'clock in the morning. But no, the boys weren't having that, so they sort of rallied, I guess, and they sort of went to all the different pits of dudes that had Silvias and other Nissans, just trying to find an axle. And sure enough, the godsend, there's a guy there, Joel, who had an S13 as well. I think he had a V8 in it, I can't remember exactly now, but he had a workshop close by to the track. And so one of his crew jumped in the car, shot down to the workshop, came back with a pair of axles, and we were back in business. So it was awesome. There's a massive thank you to Joel. You're never going to see this video, but yeah, I mean, I thanked him obviously at the time, but far out, that was, yeah, no, a bit of a lifesaver. So my crew, the bro Carl, got the axle in real quick, and then by which stage, unfortunately, it was lunchtime. So we just had a bit of a downtime and I guess time to reflect and sort of think about what's happened so far. And we've, you know, come this far and we've still got all afternoon and everything's gonna be all good.
Look at everyone's faces, they're all watching it.
You watching me this
Fuck with bro. Could be worse, could be in a Demio.
True. Exactly.
Let's better make it in the fucking video, Chris.
So yeah, after lunch we're back out and obviously still the ongoing power steering issues. Well, it turned out to be power steering issues, binding issues. So just continue to try and drive around that as much as possible. There are little moments where sort of it didn't do it, and or when it did bind, it was in sort of places where it didn't matter so much. So I was able to get some nice sort of transitions and slides and sort of moments where I could get a good feel for what the car's doing, and it felt really good.
Yeah, just do the wider sections. Yeah, just hit the long one again. Yeah, boy! That was fucking awesome, dude! You're doing the best you can with the tools you have, man. Holy shit!
Yeah, there.
Yep.
I know where's that cone?
Oh, it's back there, you're good. It's not under you. Put it there, bro. That was fucking sick, man.
It definitely felt very much like the simulator, just with G-forces, which is what people say, but it's pretty true. Like the techniques and everything, the steering techniques, the handbrake, left foot braking, all that sort of stuff that you do in the simulator definitely crosses over. It's just obviously there's consequences in the real car, so you get a lot more adrenaline, which is one of the things that sort of, I guess, surprised me a little bit is it changed to the speed. So like when I'm in the simulator, everything felt a lot faster than it did when I was on the track in the car, and I sort of thought it would be the other way around. But I think it's because of the adrenaline. You're just so pumped that everything slows down a little bit. And so judging that speed was a little bit weird. It felt a little bit, I guess, different. And I sort of adjusted. And I guess the more I drive it, the less I'm going to get that sort of adrenaline. It'll sort of, I don't know, plateau, if you will. Ripping along, I had ripping on the gear sideways, the freaking bonnet came up. The bonnet pins let go, boom. Bonnet into the windscreen, can't see where I'm going, just locked up, and yeah. I stayed on the track though, somehow. But yeah, scary moment. We got back to the pits, sort of pushed it, clipped it down as best we could, and then just cable tied it so it wasn't going to go anywhere. Made it back out for the last run of the day. And the last run of the day was easily the best run of the day. The car, when it bound up in places that didn't really matter so much. It's kind of like at each end of the section we were doing. So we're sort of going around the cones, it was sort of locking up around there. But the actual drift part of it was good. From memory, it did kind of lock up a little bit even amongst that, but it wasn't enough to really upset the car. So it was okay. But it was the best run. And we took a lot of confidence away from that. And I wanted to go again, lined up, wanted to do the same bit. It's like, oh man, this is so good. But by the time it got around to just before our turn, it was too late. It was game over. what an amazing experience. I sort of look back and reflect now about everything, I guess, that went on, and you'd think it would have been like I guess almost a terrible day with all these issues and with everything, but we were just so pumped and just so happy to be there, and really there was no negativity at all. It was frustrating, especially the steering side of it was frustrating, but seeing the community come together and help us when we'd snap the axle, and just the amazing people we'd met, and amazing time, and just the little bit of seat time we had was so much fun, and it was the best. I feel like this is my calling. It is something I really want to do a lot more of. I need seat time. I'm certain I can get at least as good as I am at the simulator in the real thing. Hopefully even more, progress even further would be the dream. So I'm going to get out and yeah, get into another event as soon as possible. Need to get the power steering fixed. I need to get new bonnet pins. I don't think there's anything major outside of that. We want to sort of raise the exhaust a little bit. It's a bit scrapey, especially when it comes down off the dump pipes real close to the ground. So we need to sort of get that sorted. Get the front bumper fitted properly. It's literally just cable tied on each end at the moment. There's not really much support at all, so we want to put some sort of support in and whatnot and get that sorted. Rear bumper, we ran no rear bumper because I just put the bash beam on and realised at that point that where the tow hook is at the back, there's actually no hole in the bumper at all, so you can't get to the tow hook with the bumper on. You need a tow hook for scrutineering to be able to get out and do it, so need to get that sorted so we can run a bumper next time. Not that it may have stayed on anyway, because there's quite a few offs with the steering issues, but hopefully next time that won't be the case. What else there was, the handbrake, keep going soft all the time, so sometimes it takes 2 or 3 pumps to actually get it to work. So I don't know whether there was some sort of a slow leak or some air in it, or not really too sure. It runs a dual caliper kind of setup, so maybe we'll give that a good bleed up and see if that helps that problem. What else was there? The brake bias. There's got a brake bias adjuster in the cockpit, which I haven't played with because I didn't really understand or know how it works. So got to work that out because it's very much to the rear, and so standing on the brakes is almost like doing a handbrake in itself. And so when you're left foot braking and stuff, it's not really slowing the car down much because most of the braking forces are at the back. I'm not quite sure why it's set up like that, whether the previous owner was having handbrake issues, so just switched it to make it like the foot brake, or doesn't make any sense. But so we're going to get that adjusted. It shouldn't be a problem, it's just learning how it works. But yeah, get back out as soon as possible. In the meantime, I'm going to hit the simulator hard, try and get out some videos of that. And also get the car fixed and start shredding. That's the plan anyway. So, cheers for watching. Ciao, ciao.